Coming up, I'll tell you about several issues I'm having with the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses and what workarounds there may be for them. Stick with me. Welcome back to I Can See You, your window into a world where blindness doesn't dictate ability. My name is David, at David Benj on all the socials, and today I'm just going to talk about the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. It is a video only, so there's no podcast portion of this. Now, don't get me wrong, I will not give up the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. However, there are some serious issues that I've encountered with them, and I don't quite know how or why. And I've looked around, done some research. I know some folks saying they've got connectivity issues. A lot of people complain about the battery. Surprisingly, I have not had an issue with the battery. I've lasted maybe 6 or so hours using them nonstop and had not one problem with the battery. Obviously, after the 6 hours, it died. But for the 6 hours I was using them, it was great. I used them to both help me when I was at the train station. I also used it to shoot some video and things like that. My main issue is when I am wearing these using voiceover, there are so many problems. Not listening to voiceover, but dictating. I don't typically use my hands to type. When I'm sending a text message, I dictate. And they come out, if you've ever seen Johnny Dangerously, they come out like what I said to the second to the last guy in that line along the seated at the table. That's what it sounds like. That's what my dictation looks like in text form. And I don't get it. Here's some video that I shot with Ziggy in the backyard. And listen, you could hear the birds chirping. It sounds fantastic. So if that sounds so great, why is the dictation bad? Let me stop talking for a minute so you can watch the video. Again, hear how the sound was incredible. But again, when I use dictation or try to ask the S lady, or for that matter, ask the M lady, in my case, it's a man, it changes my words like you wouldn't believe. I know there are 6 microphones, and for whatever reason, dictation is horrible. And any kind of questions are horrible. Sometimes I have to shout it just for Meta to make it happen, whether I'm asking a question. I will let you know something funny. At one point, I was walking down the street in Philadelphia on Market Street, and I was trying to gauge where I was, and I was trying to get the cross street in front of me, and it couldn't find the street sign to tell me. So at one point, I had turned to my right. I was on the north side of Market Street, and I said to the glasses, "Hey, glasses, does that building show an address on it?" The response was, "That building is not wearing a dress." That was the response. Not that it didn't have a dress on it, but it wasn't wearing a dress. So I don't know if it had numbers on the building. I don't know what the story was, but it couldn't even tell me where I was. And along those lines, same thing, again, speaking with whether it's the microphones or the connectivity with the phone. When I initially got them, I paired them with my phone so that I could receive and make phone calls with them. That has been horrible. And I immediately stopped doing that because people couldn't hear me. It wasn't allowing me to even have a conversation, even a short yes-no conversation. It was difficult. So now when my phone rings and I happen to be wearing them, I will hear them ring in the speakers. And again, these are speakers. These are not, a lot of people think these are the bone conducting. They're not bone conducting. If you don't believe me, put them down on the counter in front of you or your desk in front of you and say something to the glasses or have it play a song. And because you can hear that song playing, that proves that they are not the bone conducting glasses. So they are not bone conducting as a lot of people think. And I don't know why they think that. But even on a call, now when I get a call, I hear it ring in my oh, I hear it saying something. When I get a call on the glasses, I hear it ring on the glasses, but when I answer using my phone, I then talk on my phone on the headset. So again, I don't know if that goes back to connectivity or if it's the microphones. I don't know. To the point where they aren't great, I used them. I was traveling last week and I was in the train station in Baltimore and I said, you know what? I'm going to put them on because there were some things I wanted to read. I'll wear them, but I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to wear them the rest of the time here. I'm pretty familiar. Baltimore's train station is pretty small, and I pretty much knew where I had to go. So I wasn't really going to keep them on in there, but I figured, you know what? Let me try them. I wanted to know what was on the board rather than pull my phone out of my pocket and wave it around and try and hear it. I thought, you know what? It's easier to hear it when it does read it, when it does take a picture and get it right. They are awesome. And the fact that you don't have to take the phone out and tell it, hey, what does that say? Or ask it to take a picture so that you can then analyze it with Be My Eyes, whatever. So I put it on and it did tell me what the display board said, which was the different train schedule. So I knew what gate I needed to go to, what I don't know that they call it gate. I think they do call them gates in the train station. And I knew that I had to go to gate 6 and then go down, and it was track 6. But I don't know if the board told me that or somebody told me that when they offered to assist me going down. But I left them on, and I didn't regret it because I wasn't getting a lot of texts. Had I been getting a lot of texts, it would have been an issue. And the only one I was really texting with at that point was Jane. And Jane already knows how to figure out what I'm saying. Jane is my daughter, if you were unaware. One of the things I can tell you that I tried for the first time while on the train was listening to music, and I thought that was fantastic. Again, for the most part, I love them. And the fact that you don't have to go into your pocket to get your phone out, to use Be My Eyes, or to find out what signs are around you or where you're going, that is great because everything is right there, right in your ears, and you don't have to pull the phone out. But when I say, hey, Meta, what's in front of me? I want to know. I don't want to question about.
Light stand with a light attached to it in front of you.
There's a light stand with a light in front of me. What else do you see?
I see a camera on a tripod.
It sees a camera on a tripod against the wall. Thank you. So I love the fact that I can do that, especially when it's a really busy place. Now, on the flip side, I wore these earlier this week going to a doctor's appointment. And while sitting in the waiting room, I was going through emails. And as I was sitting there, they called my name to come up. I had to give my insurance card and, of course, pay while I was waiting to be seen. And I didn't initially hear them call my name because I was listening to emails. Now, I can't even imagine if I was listening to music because I wouldn't have heard that. Heard them even call any name. At least with the emails, I could hear the name. So that is another, again, that's any kind of drawback if you're listening to something other than having the phone in your hand and listening, holding it near your ear. But I wore them because I knew that I needed sunglasses, number one. And number two, I wanted to give it another chance to read the 2020 line. I thought when I went to a doctor's appointment a few weeks ago, I thought, oh, I'm going to read the 2020 line for the first time ever. And when I asked it to read the chart, which is on a monitor, it said, no, the monitor's off. There's nothing there. I said, are you sure? And it said, yeah. I said, okay. And I didn't push it because the lady who was telling me to read the sign had to go to the next room. But in this case, the lady who was with me said, oh, yeah, what do you want to do? And I said, oh, could you put up the 2020 line? And she said, yep. And she put it up. And I asked, and it couldn't read it. I said, are you sure? And it said, no, it's too blurry. I can't read it. So we went back to the original line that I couldn't read, which was, I think, the 2200 line. And I asked it to read it, and it did read the whole line, which was it was only 2 letters. It was an E and an O. So I thought that was pretty cool. Again, I couldn't read that line, but my glasses could. So again, there's a lot of great things with the glasses. But when I think about using them, because of the issue. Now, if I had pockets where I could put the case in, because the case is pretty bulky, I would probably take them all the time. But I just don't like the issues, and I guess I could shut them off too. I guess maybe I'm a dummy for that. But I hate the fact that to send a text that's of any length, other than yes, no, maybe more than a couple of words, it's a problem. So it causes me to think, hey, do I want to wear these today or not? Or just wear the regular sunglasses that I have? And lately, that's what I've opted for because of the issues that I've had. And again, I'll never use them to talk on the phone. And even when my friends talk to me, when they're wearing the glasses, I can tell. And I said, you got the Ray-Ban Metas on, right? And they said, yes. How do you know? I said, because the audio quality is horrible. So if you're getting these glasses because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to use them to talk on the phone, not that great. If you're getting them because you use them to dictate, also not that great. But if you're getting them because you travel often or you are commuting every day and you need to know what's in front of you, what signs you're seeing, if the street is close, whatever, they are fantastic. So you got to take the good with the bad. And until something else comes out that is better, and maybe these can get better as they upgrade the firmware and so forth. But I would buy them again. I certainly would. But again, they have the limitations like I've mentioned. So let me know if you've got the glasses. Let me know in the comments down below what you love about them, what you hate about them. I know, again, a few friends have told me the batteries are terrible. I haven't had an issue there. Mine have always worked, and unless, like I told you, the one day that I used them constantly for about 6 hours. Otherwise, it's been great. And I don't usually wear them that long to have that happen. Maybe at 2 hours, 3 hours, things like that. Otherwise, I take them off and don't use them if I'm inside and I'm doing something else where I don't need them. I don't keep them on. I have never liked wearing glasses. These, I think, are comfortable, though. I know some people have said, oh, the comfort is terrible. And I'm like, oh, I disagree. I've had the Celeste glasses, which were just so uncomfortable. And they were just smart glasses. And I don't want to say they weren't that smart to begin with, but I paid double what I paid for these on those, and I've used them maybe a handful of times. They didn't record video. They didn't do a lot of things that these do. So as time goes on, I'm sure both Ray-Ban Metas are going to get better, whether it's this version or the next version. I'm not interested for a display inside. I won't be able to see it. It doesn't matter. But again, I would buy them again. I certainly would buy them again. I don't know that I would get the transitions because a lot of times, like I just said, when I'm inside, I do take them off. Now, I haven't worn them a lot of times going into a store. I think I was with Liz once in a store, and I used them to see what was on the shelves and things like that. Again, very useful and helpful, but I wasn't dictating texts and that sort of stuff. But let me know in the comments whether you love them, you hate them, if you'll buy them. There is a link down in the description that will take you to Amazon so you can buy these very glasses, the ones with the transition lenses, which are a little bit more expensive than the sunglass version, the full-on sunglass version. I think they're $50 more or so, give or take. But I would buy them, and it is an affiliate link if you do. I appreciate it. Thank you. Also, let me know in the comments, do you like more like this? What else would you like to see video only? Again, it's a little bit different than the podcast. Please, in any event, like and subscribe to this video if you've got any kind of value out of it, and let me know anything else you'd like in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.